at the top, Gary, it says 36.
-1 because I'm locked on site.
I got 24.
-2 because Mark is one of them. So we have 34 participants.
And Mark, I'm sorry. I said I was going to
35.
call in. I'm
Slow-
sorry, Vinny.
Slow down. 35 now. So we have 35 plus Mark, and for some reason, Richie's on twice.
And Laura.
Okay?
Don't count me.
So
Mark, I said I was going to call in, and then I was fooling around with my iPad, and I got on. So that's where the confusion lied with the iPad 8 and the phone number.
Okay. You're on twice. So we still have 34 people. More than enough. Correct?
That's at 38 now.
Who's producing? Whoever's moving their laptop around.
I'm trying to straighten this out.
Kathy, mute yourself, Kathy.
Move myself. I can't.
Mute yourself.
I got it.
Also, Mr. Chairman, Jay No is on, who's not actually a member of the board, but a participant.
He's speaking today, yes.
Yeah, I understand that, but he doesn't count towards a quorum, just
Correct.
if you're counting for a quorum.
I'm confident that we are quorumed up. So, Mark, you could go live, and then we'll begin the meeting at 7:35.
Okay. We're just showing the apple right now.
Okay, thank you. Mark, why do we have a chat listed on the bottom of the screen?
Because Richie told everybody he was...
It's Richie's fault.
It's all Richie's fault.
Okay. We'll blame him, Fdny. Damn conservatives.
So call-in user 1, that's Edgar, right?
I believe so.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, just changing the name. 917-703-9996. Who's that? 703-9996. Who's that?
This is Kinga Kurzina. Hello?
Yes, okay.
I'm not even going to attempt to spell that. Sorry.
Yes,
K-U-R.
my first name.
Go ahead.
Hello? Hi.
Yes,
So my first name is Kinga, like King plus A.
Like what? I'm sorry?
Like King plus A, like letter A.
Got it.
And my last name is K-U-R as in zebra. Sorry, R as in Robert, Z as in zebra, Y, N as in Nancy, A.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Kinga, this is Vinny Arcuri.
Hello.
Your best partner couldn't get his message to us today. So if you know what he wanted to report, you can report that later for us, okay?
Of course, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who is 639-7676? Barbara
Toscano.
Thank you.
Whenever you are, you tell me.
Go ahead.
Okay, so welcome to a live visual meeting of Community Board 5 Queens. We'll open with, as usual, the Pledge of Allegiance. Donald, would you show us the flag?
I pledge allegiance.
Yeah, go ahead, Don.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. For those of you who are just viewing, we thank you for joining us. For the board members and electeds that are participating, or the electeds that have sent us statements, we'll get to you. The first order of business tonight is someone's got their sound on or making noise. That's on a telephone.
Just going to ask if everybody can mute themselves unless you've been raised your hand and been called on.
Okay, so while you're doing that, the first order of business tonight is a Corona update. And is that you, Che No?
Yes, my camera's not working today, so
it is. We see you.
Yes, that's me in the city council chamber. Just
go right ahead, Che.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let me know when to start.
Go.
Okay. All right. So, hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Che No from the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. I work for the Office of External Affairs, and I'm glad to be able to join you tonight, monthly board meeting. So tonight I'll be providing some situational updates on what the city is doing, what the state's doing, and so to begin, I'll be discussing numbers. So globally, we have more than 11.8 million reported cases as of this afternoon. Last month, when I spoke at this board, I said maybe 8 million or 9 million. I don't recall, but the number has gone up dramatically. New York State itself has 181,152 reported cases outside of New York City, and New York City itself has 214,570 reported cases as of today. New York City lost 18,618 people in confirmed deaths and 4,606 probable deaths. And we currently have 213 confirmed cases and 55 pending cases of MIS-C. So the pending cases are retroactive and were acquired after the data match with New York State. For more information, you can visit nyc.gov/health/coronavirus and click on data. The numbers are updated every day. So for Queens itself, Queens has 65,428 confirmed cases. Of those cases, 26% or about 17,037 people are hospitalized, have been hospitalized. There have been 5,868 confirmed deaths and 1,222 probable deaths as of today. And Queens has 41 confirmed cases of MIS-C. So as you all know, New York City is in phase 3 of the reopening. All New Yorkers should get tested for COVID-19. Please stay home if you're sick. Only leave for essential medical care and testing or other essential errands. And keep physical distance. Stay at least 6 feet away from other people. And don't forget to wash your hands often with soap and water. Use hand sanitizer if soap and water are not available. And wearing a face covering. Face covering is mandated by the governor's executive order. You can be contagious without symptoms. Protect those around you by wearing a face covering. So today, July 8th, what is New York City's Get Tested Day of Action. So today begins the campaign of, we hope to get 175,000 New Yorkers tested for COVID-19 in a week. And the Test and Trace Corps, which is a combination of the health department and health and hospitals, is trying to have all New Yorkers receive free testing for COVID-19. All New Yorkers, again, should get tested for COVID-19 regardless of symptoms or increased risk. Immigration status will not be asked, and it will be free. For more information, you can visit testandtrace.nyc. And to find a site near you, please visit nyc.gov/COVID test. Repeat testing should be offered if you have COVID-19 symptoms or if you're concerned by possible exposure, including spending time in large crowds and exposure to someone with confirmed or possible COVID-19, or breaches in wearing a face covering or maintaining physical distancing. All New Yorkers who participated in recent protests on any side should assume that they were exposed to COVID-19 and get tested. And with phase 3, we have various industries starting up operations again. Non-essential businesses and business activities in the following industries are now open: agriculture, forestry, fishing, hunting, commercial building management, construction, essential and phase 2 in-store retail, hair salons and barbershops, manufacturing, offices, outdoor and takeout delivery food services. Indoor dining is not open per the governor and the mayor's orders. Personal care establishments are open. Real estate retail, which is limited to curbside or in-store pickup or drop-off. Retail rental, repair, cleaning, vehicle sales, leases and rentals, and wholesale trade. Non-essential workers not included in phase 1, 2, or 3 are directed to work from home. With phase 3, we also have open outdoor recreational activities such as basketball, bocce, handball, tennis, volleyball courts, dog runs, New York City public and private beaches for swimming, New York State park beaches for swimming, playgrounds, and public and private outdoor pools. So these are now open. And recently, the Board of Health allowed child care centers to reopen on Monday, July 13th. However, the centers do not have to open if they feel uncomfortable. So in order for them to reopen, the child care centers must have New York City permits and attest to the following: no more than 15 children per room, face coverings for staff and children, daily health screenings, frequent cleaning and disinfection, and limited sharing of items, including toys. We will inspect programs to verify compliances. And for businesses that have questions about restarting, they can call the Department of Small Businesses at 1-800-SBS-4NYC. So that's 1-800-727-4692. And as for reopening guidance, please visit forward.ny.gov. Let's see, what's the hot potato topic? Yes, the travel advisory. So New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut have agreed to quarantine individuals from various states. This restriction applies to travelers from Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, California, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Nevada, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah. So the travelers from these states should be quarantined for 14 days. The state is also looking into specific air conditioning requirements to prevent airborne spread of the virus. During the press conference today, the governor mentioned that indoor malls can open provided that they are outfitted with MERV 11, 12, or 13 filtration systems. That's up to the mall to decide, because it does cost money. I'm not sure which malls will be open, but yeah, the requirement is there. And since we can't dine inside, the city is expanding restaurant seating options in order to keep New Yorkers safe. So we have sidewalk seating, curb lane seating, backyard and patio seating. And the open streets will be active from Friday from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from noon to 11 p.m. Yeah, that's it for my updates today, since a lot of the topics I covered in the past instances of this meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Richie Huber here.
Richie has his hand up.
Yes, if I could ask a question. There's been a lot of discussion about false positives and false negatives on the testing. Could you speak to that, please? Thank you.
Yes. So for the COVID-19 testing itself, if you're getting the regular nasopharyngeal or oropharyngeal swabs, the test is relatively accurate. We haven't seen much instances, but we've seen this problem crop up in antibody tests. So when it comes to antibody tests, we're stressing that it's not a definite result that you're immune from COVID-19. In fact, we're still trying to figure out, if the antibodies make you immune to COVID-19 or if they're just there for a couple of months. If they disappear, it's still not clear. There are various research papers coming out saying different things, but we need a large sample size, and we need to conduct additional testing. So that's a concern that we definitely have, and therefore, with this day of action and going forward, we're trying to offer, we're offering free COVID-19 testings so that New Yorkers can get tested as frequently as possible if they want to.
Okay, Kenny, you have a question?
Yeah. Over the week, I was away for upstate for the weekend, and on the news up there, they were talking about being that it's, now that we're in July and higher heat. They were saying not to leave hand sanitizer in your car because it can explode.
Well, anything that contains 90% alcohol.
Yeah, but
yes, that's true.
Most people wouldn't even have thought of it,
Thank you.
Mary Ellen?
That's Paul Kirzner. Go ahead, Paul.
Question, how is the city enforcing the quarantine? For example, if I have somebody who I know has been away for a while and now has come back and back on the block, and I know that what state they've been at, and if they go out the next day and every other day, that doesn't seem to be a quarantine. How is the quarantine enforced? Is this just everybody's on best behavior?
Jay?
Okay, thank you for your question. So this quarantine order is from the state itself, and I understand that it is a state that will enforce. As for the enforcement mechanism, I haven't received additional word on that, but per the New York State Public Health Law, they can impose various penalties starting from $2,000 going up to $5,000, $10,000, and so forth. So as for enforcement details, once I get more word, I'll share with the board.
So is there someone that we can call if we see a flagrant violation?
Che, there was
I'll get back to you. I do not have that information.
Che, there was a number that was produced online at the daily conference, both the mayor and the governor. If someone wanted to rat out their neighbors, yes. So,
Marianne?
Microphone. No.
Hi, I got a question. As you know, the warmer weather coming and the beaches are getting quite crowded. I was told by someone that COVID-19 gets killed in the ocean water because a lot of people are on top of each other. Is that true, or is it a myth?
It is a myth because, well, if that proved to be true, then we wouldn't have high case numbers in Florida. Because over there, people are on top of each other, but beginning May, because they opened up way too early. So people are all over each other, enjoying the beach, going on, enjoying the sun, and then going surfing and whatnot. And the case counts are still going up. That's why, so New York State, thankfully, right now it has calmed down. So our case numbers are lower than that of most states. But the threat is still there. So we're not sure if the reopening will cause an increase in case counts again, because over the past week, 2 weeks, the case numbers, they fluctuated. The highest it went was 900 a day. Today, I think it reported maybe 570. So, we're still keeping an eye out on this thing, and that's why we're asking people to maintain physical distancing and wear face coverings and avoid large crowds and so forth. So, going outdoors, that does reduce the risk because we're not, breathing in recirculated air and we have more distance between people. But when we're, going out to enjoy recreational activities, we must ensure that appropriate distancing may be maintained for the safety of ourselves and others.
Thank you.
Dimitro?
Dimitro. Marianne, somehow you're making noise. What are we doing here? Dimitro, where are you? Okay. Marianne, somehow there's noise on your end. Would you?
I don't see how that can be possible, Vinny. She's muted.
Yeah, it's not from there.
Okay. So, Dimitro, where are you? Dimitro?
All right, next was Suk.
Suk.
Yes, sir. Mr. No, you were talking about 15 children or students in a room. How big is the room size we're talking about? Is there any limitation city has set up for the room that we can put 15 students in a room?
Yes, I believe there are different size stipulations per the state's announcement. I do not have that information on hand, but I understand that different criteria and daycare, childcare providers that are looking to reopen must attest that they fit these requirements under penalty of law.
So 6 feet distancing requirement is required even in a room.
Yeah, quite possible. Yes.
Wasn't it a combination of 50% of the legal occupancy plus 6 foot spacing?
It's different for each industry because let's take for example for manufacturing and different office environments, for working environments, the initial restriction was 25% and we increased it to 50%. But for houses of worship, for example, it was restricted to 15% or 20%. Now 25. I think it's up to 25%, and now it's up to 33%. So I guess it depends on the activities they conduct. And for childcare activities, children are running around, and they will be speaking, they will be talking, they'll be doing sing-alongs. So that's why they're trying to keep it under a manageable number. And as for the spacing, the distancing itself, I can look at the guidelines and I'll give you a definite answer later on.
Thank you.
I'm unmuting anybody who's on the telephone in case they have a question.
Okay, if not, the next item of business is a presentation by, hold on, I gotta get my cell phone up. A presentation regarding Wyckoff Hospital Adolescent Program. Gary, do you know anything more about that?
Well, no,
Hannah is okay.
Yeah.
Hannah?
Hannah's
I'm sorry.
supposed to be here.
I didn't see it. I missed her name. Introduce yourself, Hannah, please.
Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me into this meeting. So again, I'm Hannah. I emailed Gary months ago about this new program, so I'm really excited to be able to talk to you all. So I'm a staff member of Wyckoff Hospital Pediatrics, and we have a fairly new program that's geared towards getting adolescents, so teens 13 to 20, access to holistic care that includes, not only their physicals, but their sexual and reproductive health needs. So this program came about because concerned staff members and doctors said, in Ridgewood and Bushwick and the surrounding area of Wyckoff Hospital, there's all these statistics of young people still having disproportionate rates of STIs and HIV and relationship violence. What can we do about this? And why isn't there a clinic that has youth-specific sexual and reproductive services? So hence the birth of extended programs for adolescents at Wyckoff Pediatrics. So, obviously we're still in quarantine, but, teens will be teens. They're still sexually active, some of them, and need these services. And even after this, a lot of young people need these services and aren't getting them across Brooklyn and Queens. So if you know any young people who need these services, or you're a member of another organization or just a concerned adult for youth, this is a really great resource to have in your back pocket to be able to bring up. And to give further details, if you don't know where Wyckoff Pediatrics is, we're at 1411 Myrtle Avenue. That's right off the Knickerbocker M train. But we will be screening virtually, and I can give my phone number if anyone has any questions about the specific virtual screening. We have a grant that allows us to get services to young people regardless of what their insurance or immigration situation is. And it's holistic. You know, we're not forcing anything down anyone's throat. If a young person just has questions, that's great. If they want condoms, that's fantastic. And if they want, you know, medication for HIV prevention, we got that too. And yeah, if there's any further questions, I can definitely assess that now, but also I can leave my phone number and email if questions come up later.
Please do. Anyone have a question or comment at this point? Okay.
How do they participate in the program?
Raise your hand. Who is it?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Bob.
How does anybody know about this and participate in the program?
So because we're a part of Wyckoff Hospital Pediatrics, often young people will come in for a physical and they hear about, you know, our program because they're sexually active or curious, and they can get services through us. Or we reach out to other schools or community organizations and they tell youth, and it kind of happens like that. So the youth that I'm currently working with, who are my clients, they looked up HIV test online and that's how they found us, or they came from a high school.
So to follow up on that, how much outreach is done on the Queens side of the border or the Queens side of Wyckoff catchment area?
Not as much as we would like to now. You know, unfortunately, as we were planning outreach, this pandemic hit and we didn't get the chance to go to, you know, the Queens libraries and schools. But obviously, you know, Wyckoff Pediatrics, we're right on the border of Ridgewood and Bushwick. So it's in the plan to be able to do more outreach into Queens.
Well, you do realize there is nothing between Wyckoff and Jamaica Hospital or St. John's Episcopal. So this whole Community Board 5 area is barren, and we rely on Wyckoff to help us. So you need to get the word out.
Yeah, I mean, we are new. It is a new program, so that's why I was thrilled when Gary accepted the invitation for me to be able to spread the knowledge about this program.
Very good. Any other questions?
Those who are on phones are unmuted.
Okay. If not,
Ken has a question.
Ken.
Hannah, are you allowed to advertise in the walk-in medical centers throughout the area, like City Med and
I have not asked about City Med and City MD yet. I could definitely ask the clinical manager about that, but
I don't think there's a relationship between Wyckoff and those locations.
Yeah.
Wyckoff someday will be doing outreach to all of those locations, and the regular doctor's offices on the Queens side. But at this point, there's probably nothing.
Yeah. We set up advertisement for folks who just walk into the main Wyckoff hospital, and that lets people know, because Wyckoff Pediatrics is about a 10-minute walk away from the main hospital. But of course, right now, all outreach that I'm doing is virtual.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the next item of business is the public forum. Mr. Giordano, do you have anything on the public forum?
A little bit.
Thank you.
Okay. So we got a statement from the Census Bureau. And then, Vinny, don't forget about Michael Barish. I don't know if you want to talk about his situation, what he put forth first, or...
No, that'll go under, we'll do that at the end of it. No, go ahead. Go with Officer Barish first then.
Okay.
I can't find it on my notes.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
Okay, so Police Officer Barish, Michael Barish, who's one of the two community affairs officers for the 104th Police Precinct, said he hopes everyone is doing well. Here's some information and updated crime stats for the past 28 days here in the 104 Precinct. Rape was up by 1 incident. They do have a person of interest in that case. Robbery is down 14 incidents. Felony assault up 4. Burglary down 5. Grand larceny down 8. Grand larceny auto down 10. And our felony assaults are up. Majority of these cases are domestic violence cases and have been closed out with an arrest. If anyone needs anything or other information, please feel free to write or call, and he hopes to see everyone soon. And that's it as far as his report goes.
Okay. Laura, you have a question? No? Kathy, Laura? Kathy Sumsky, you have a question on this?
I do. I just wanted to know if there's any statistics on the homeless shelter. What's going on there?
A lot of rumors. Where is, hold on a second. Let me just, Kathy Massey, you've been dealing with that. You have anything to say about it?
Yeah, actually, I just got off a community advisory board meeting with 21 people regarding what goes on at Cooper Rapid Center. And needless to say, we spent an hour on the phone, and personally, it was a waste of my time. I've requested that we have another meeting in August, not wait 3 months, because all the problems that we brought up to them, if they're not corrected, we're going to wind up with a larger problem given schools open in September.
I think the question is, what's the count right now?
100.
Okay. And there's no program?
The only programs they're doing and everything, they're blaming everything on the coronavirus. So therefore they can't do job counseling, job training. They're doing one-on-one. They can't do group anything. And basically whatever we brought up to them and we questioned what programs they have, basically we were concerned that they were not addressing the alcohol and substance abuse issue, which we've seen quite a bit of. And their response to that is they will refer people to a medical professional.
All right. So for the next meeting, you'll have a full report for us?
Yeah, and give you a report at the end of this meeting.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Yeah, we'll do that later. All right. So Laura, you had your hand up. What's up? Hello? Hello?
Laura, you have to unmute.
with my computer. Hi. Sorry, Vinny. I just wanted to let you know that Daniel Kirzner called me and he sent me Holden's report.
Okay, thank you. Gary, Richie, you had something, question?
Yes, regarding the homeless situation.
If it's the homeless, we'll wait. Rich, if it's on the Rich,
delis and other establishments.
Rich, if it's regarding the homeless, let's keep it to when Kathy reports. Right now, we're doing the public forum. Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Giordano, would you continue with the public forum?
Yes, so we received a statement from a representative of the Bureau of the Census, a woman named Sayaka Prestia, who's a partnership specialist for the New York Regional Census Center. Update on census operational adjustments, it's called. Based on the current self-response rate of 61%, the U.S. Census Bureau estimates it will need to visit approximately 56 million addresses across the country to collect responses in person. Census takers will begin the non-response follow-up operations starting July 16th in some parts of the country and the New York City boroughs. It will begin on August 13th and conclude no later than October 31st. Census takers will follow local public health guidelines when they visit. Households can still respond now by completing and mailing back the paper questionnaire they received or by responding online at 2020census.gov or by phone at 844-330-2020. Census takers will not visit households that complete the census. And part of this is an update on the census, the current response rate. As of July the 7th, the national response rate was 61.9%. New York State, 57.4%. Queens, 53%. Ridgewood, 48.15, which they say is up by almost 1.5%. Maspeth, 52.74, which is up 1.6%. Middle Village, 51.49, up 1.32%. Glendale, 48.2, up 1.47%. Please continuously encourage everyone to respond to the census before door knocking starts on August 13th. Stay safe and be counted in 2020 census.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you. So the next item of business is
Kathy Shumsky.
Kathy?
Unmute. Gary, could you please repeat that phone number?
Okay. 844-330-2020.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, nothing else. We'll go on to the next item, which is the chairperson's report. And that's me, Vincent Arcuri, chairperson. So, Miss Laura, do you have to call the roll call? Because I know we have to have it recorded. I believe the program is being recorded, but I think we should call the attendance. Can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. Bhubaneswar at Hikari.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're present?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, great. Vincent Arcuri.
Present.
Tony Benanti.
I'm here.
Eric Butkowitz.
Here.
Eric.
He's
Okay.
here.
Yep, I'm here.
Bob Tramelli.
Here.
Walter Clayton.
Here.
Patricia Crowley.
Present.
I know Brian Dooley, I don't believe is out there. He told us he couldn't make it. Jerry Drake, I did not see. Dimitro Fitkowski.
Present.
Steve Fiedler, I did not see. Are you there, Steve? Sean Fish.
Present.
Suk Gurung.
Present.
Fred Haller.
Here.
Fred.
Yes.
Thank you. Fred Hofferly.
Here.
Richie Huber. I know you're here, Rich.
Present.
Paul Kirzner. Paul was here earlier. Paul, you there? I don't know what happened to Paul. Okay.
Paul was muted.
Kinga Kirzner.
Present.
Okay. Okay, great. And Paul was muted. Thank you. Marianne, I see you. Latanzio.
Present.
Ed Latow, I don't think said he could make it till later. Ed, are you there? No. Mike Liendo, I didn't see you. Are you there? John Meyer.
Present.
Patricia Maltisos.
Present.
Edgar Mantell.
Present.
Kathy Massey.
Present.
Eileen Maloney, I didn't see you. Okay. Peggy O'Kane.
Present.
Michael O'Kane.
Yeah.
Donald Passantino.
Present.
Ken Redberger.
Present.
Ted Wrens.
Yeah,
Hold on,
present.
You missed Mike Porcelli.
Oh, Mike Porcelli.
Yeah.
Okay. Kelvin Rodriguez. Okay. Luis Rodriguez.
Present.
Okay. Lee Rottenberg.
Present.
Lee.
Present.
Okay. Walter Sanchez. Walter. Carmen Santana, I know, is not present. Dennis Stefan.
Here.
Kathy Sumsky.
Present.
Megan Taddeo. Barbara Toscano.
Here.
Patrick Chinkasi.
Here.
Micheline Von Drathen. Okay. Crystal Wolf.
Present.
Mariana Zero. And Nan Zhang. Okay, I think I got everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think I'm here. You missed me.
Who's
Oh,
that?
who's that?
Ganal Thapa.
Guynel? Okay, I had you down. Sorry if I missed you.
Okay, thank you. It's okay. Thank you.
Kathy
you.
has her hand up again. Kathy Sumsky.
Hello, Kathy. What's up?
You have
You
to.
gotta open up.
I don't
What's
mean to have my
what's up?
hand up. Sorry. Sorry.
No worries.
That was a boo-boo.
Okay, nothing. All right, thank you. So we did attendance. How about minutes? Everyone should have gotten the minutes electronically. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as read or corrected?
Motion to accept.
I second.
Okay, so Kathy, Massey, Marianne, Latanzio, all in favor?
All in favor?
Any opposed? Any objections?
No.
Thank you. Okay. Yes?
Antoinette. I think it was Antoinette, not Marianne. Am I correct?
And Tony Benanti, second.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm working from a laptop and a cell phone, so I apologize. So after the minutes of liquor. I don't know if this is the complete list, but I will be corrected. New liquor licenses. Mr. G, are you making a sound or you're on for some reason? You're on the screen for some reason.
I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't making a sound that I know of.
Well, maybe just mute yourself and see what happens. Okay. No, you know what's going on, Mark? Okay.
Are you on speaker view, Vinny?
Huh?
Are you on speaker view instead of gallery?
I'm speaking, not Gary. That's correct. Okay, so liquor, wine, and beer license applications and renewals. New liquor license. Is Isla Lounge Corp. doing business as El Coquille, 5419 Myrtle Avenue. Cafe Rum Limited, 1050 Wyckoff Avenue, Ridgewood. Liquor license renewals. Brises Del Mar Restaurant, New York Corp. 675 Woodwood. The Chelly House, Inc., 6956 Grand Avenue. Harbor Inn Sports Bar, 6463 Dry Harbor Road, Middle Village. Cozy Corner, doing business as Cozy Corner, 6001 70 Avenue. New wine and or beer license. La Cafeteria del Burro Corp., 6402 Myrtle Avenue. Wine and beer license renewals. Mr. Pancho Corp., 4663 Metropolitan Avenue. Walter, could you mute yourself? Sanchez.
I got it.
Thank you. ARD Group LLC, doing business as Slide Bar BQ, 527565 Place. Rogna LLC, 6359 Forest Avenue, has notified us that they will be submitting a corporate change application to the New York State Liquor Authority, as the current owner is selling his business to Dave Goberdon. The method of operation would remain the same. Fatima Restaurant Corp., doing business as New Estrella Del Mar, 552 Seneca Avenue, Ridgewood, has notified us that they intend to submit a class change application to Liquor Authority to change their existing restaurant wine license to an on-premises liquor, wine, beer, and cider license. Did I miss any, Laura?
No, you did not.
Thank you. Okay, so that's the minutes. That's that. Okay, building department. Demolition notices. I don't know if I have everything here in front of me. There's a garage at 654161 Street. There's a demolition notice for, well, it's actually an excavation notice of 523574 Street. There's an Alt 1 notice for 825561 Drive. There's a garage demolition for 6920 Juniper Valley Road. And there's a demolition notice for 446 Grand Avenue. I think that's all.
Gary has his hand up.
Gary?
Vinny, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one is 75-41 61st Street.
Yeah.
It's a garage.
Okay.
The second one is 5235 74th Street.
That's what I thought.
I don't think that's what you said, sir. And the Ridgewood one is 446 Grandview Avenue, not Grand Avenue.
Okay, Grandview Avenue. Thank you.
But all members should have got a copy of that list.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
That's why I was
No.
trying to catch up because it didn't come out fully yet. Okay. The next item under my report is, well, I'm going to skip around a little bit. So before I get to the elected officials, I've been reviewing the outline from DCAS and the mayor's office on what needs to be done to restore full-time or part-time use at the community board office. We've started prepping for that. We do not know when, and we'll talk to Joe in a little while about that. So we had two complete cleanups with the general cleaning. We had the carpet cleaned, the walls wiped down. We had ultraviolet light cleaning of the spaces with the air conditioner system running. We had the landlord change the filters. We've put in a new toilet seat. We're adding more parts and pieces. The existing workstations are basically separated, but we have to move some seats around for the public. If and when we open to the public, we'll need some plastic shields, further working on that. The office is basically closed to the public and anyone at this time. We have partial workforce in place, partial workforce working from home. Until we get further notice, we need to do some more work in the office. So with that, Joe Nasarino, you have anything to update us on that or anything to report?
I have a couple of things to report. First, to start with that issue. First, hello, everyone. I hope everybody's well. Hello from the borough president. Back in office, I'm sorry to tell you I have not gotten a response. As far as borough president staff, we are minimal, that we are in the office. I know DCAS is back pretty heavy in Borough Hall. I know the DA has a large membership there and buildings in Borough Hall, but I have no word for you nor me. I will again speak with Sharon tomorrow at my Thursday morning meeting and see if she can give us some guidance for you. So forgive me, I don't have any answer.
Thank you.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I said thank you.
You're welcome. Well, items. Queens Complete Count Committee has been doing mass outreach to coattail on Gary's statement about the census. It's Get Out the Count. Our office is partnering with the Census to host phone banking every Friday. What I will do is after I'm done, I'll put the number for Borough Hall where you can call in if you want to phone bank from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Technology is amazing. You don't even dial. You know, you hook up to their program and it dials for you. So I'll put that in the chat room, my number. Number 2, Borough Hall Recruitment Fair is going to be on the 15th, 2 p.m. Obviously, that's virtual. So you go in through our website. And of note, this month, Borough Board and Borough Cabinet are together, held together, and that will be on the 20th at 5:30. And with that ring, I say thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Whose telephone could be muted, please? Thank you. So,
all right, it's Walter saying I have something for Joe. Is that all right? I ask a question now?
If you raised your hand.
Uh-oh. Raise hand.
Bottom right-hand corner. Go ahead, Walter.
The moment's lost now, Walter. We got you. There you go.
All right. What's up, Walt?
Unmute. Walt, you got to unmute.
You and I spoke a couple of weeks ago about the Amazon project at the Metro Mall. And, you know, I could swear that I gave a report to the community board about what was going on there. And I guess it wasn't in the minutes, or maybe we didn't.
I have to tell you, the wonderful Gary Giordano and Kathy, I had 2 conversations with both of them. And thanks to their note-taking and information, I got information on both buildings. I submitted it to the borough president. And I think what the issue was at that time, Walter, after talking to her and getting that information from Gary, was that she was confusing the 2 buildings and didn't realize there were 2 buildings. So she was, you know, and listen, she wasn't the borough president then. So it wasn't even like she didn't have it. She wasn't the borough president. So I straightened her out. There's 2 buildings, what the buildings were, what they're going to be, square footage. She's happy. I'm happy. She hopes the community is happy that they're coming in. And that is that. But thank you, Walter. Your help was important. Thank you, Gary. And thank you to Kathy, who I don't know if she's on. Good staff. You picked well.
Sorry, Ken has his hand up.
Yeah, Vin, I was just wondering, do you know what kind of filters we're going to be able to use at the office?
Well, I could definitely say they will not be HEPA filters because the boiler isn't designed for HEPA filtering system, but there'll be high density filters that were they've been put in by the landlord.
Right, because I know there's a lot of talk about certain kinds are better than others now.
Well, HEPA is the HEPA filters are the top of the line systems, but you have to have the system that works with it. So, and I don't think the average system in any facility, including a mall, can't support HEPA filters.
Right.
So, and
the governor said that was going to be a problem probably.
And it's my opinion that a HEPA filter will not, on its own, will not prevent disease from traveling.
Mm.
So, for instance, at Wyckoff Heights Medical Center, we've installed ultraviolet systems in the ductwork. So in addition to the filters, the ultraviolet kills the germs.
Good.
Because you really can't tell what filter will take care of what germ. So that's why we've done ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is the ultimate, but it's, we looked at that. When we had the ultraviolet cleaning of the office, that cost us $850 to do about 5 hours of ultraviolet light cleaning. To install a system would have cost us $20,000. So you can only do so much. All right.
Thanks.
Anything else? All right. Where were we? Building department. Oh, elected officials. So, Laura, you said you got Holden's report. I think Kinga had a copy too, but go ahead, Laura, if you have it.
Okay, just give me a minute to get it up here. Okay, from Office of Robert Holden. Hello, neighbors, Community Board 5 members, and fellow elected officials. I hope that you are all staying safe and healthy, and I thank you for your continued work and volunteerism as we navigate this challenging year together. Our city is now beginning to reopen businesses as the spread of COVID-19 has slowed dramatically, and that is thanks to all of our collective efforts to practice social distancing, wear masks, and practice good hygiene. My office in Middle Village remains closed, but my staff and I gladly continue to serve our constituents every day while working from home. Please do not hesitate to call 718-366-3900 or email district30@council.nyc.gov, my office, anytime when you need assistance. As you are probably aware, the City Council in June voted in favor of the proposed fiscal year 2021 budget after much debate. I voted no to the proposed budget due to the fact that it included $1 billion in cuts and reallocated funding from the NYPD. These cuts will result in the School Safety Division being moved under the authority of the Department of Education, overtime hours being cut, and the cancellation of at least one police academy class. I believe these cuts will be damaging not only to the morale of our police, but to the overall public safety of our city, which is why I could not vote in favor. Now that the budget has been passed, the City Council will slow down for the month of July. In the coming weeks, my office is hosting a COVID-19 antibody testing event on July 15th at Juniper Boulevard South and 78th Street from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please contact my office for information on how to register in advance. We are also working to bring a long-term COVID testing site to the district soon. Thank you again for your continued dedication to our communities, and I hope to see all of you in the near future. Sincerely, Robert F. Holden, Council Member, District 30.
Thank you. Okay, so again, going back to the...
Hello?
Yes, thank you. Am I there? Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Hear all that? Okay.
So going back to the correspondence we received from the mayor's office and DCAS about operations remotely and during this crisis, one of the items they determined there was that if there is no regulations in our bylaws for voting remotely, we need to vote to permit that. So, Mr. Giordano, would you read off the results of the elections? And then I'll take a motion to accept the accept the elections as voted at on our last electronic meeting and in the at the mail-in ballots. Mr. G.
Okay, so
Got to start with the chair and work your way down.
well, no, there was
Start
no
with the
election
chair.
for chair.
Start with the chair and work. Yeah, who's the person?
Vincent
What we have to do
Arcuri.
is legalize what we did remotely because there's nothing in the bylaws that allowed for that.
Okay. So Vincent Arcuri was nominated to be chairperson of Community Board 5. He accepted the nomination as stated in the minutes from last month's meeting, and there was no opposition, so he was unanimously elected. For first vice chair, Walter Sanchez was nominated for the position. He accepted the position. There were no other candidates for the position, and therefore he was elected unanimously. For second vice chair, Dmytro Fikowski was nominated for the position. He accepted, and there was no opposition. Therefore, he was unanimously elected. For treasurer, Kathy Massey was nominated. She accepted the position. There were no other candidates for treasurer. Therefore, she was unanimously elected. For secretary, Margaret, who we all know as Peggy O'Kane, was nominated for the position. She accepted the position, and there was no opposition. Therefore, she was unanimously elected. So where the election took place was for at-large positions. So what we did was that we emailed everyone a ballot, which they had to download and sign and return to the office. after listing whatever candidates they wanted to vote for. There are 47 members of Community Board 5 Queens. 42 members voted, and the results were Ted Wrens with 29 votes, Fred Haller with 26 votes, Paul Kirzner with 23 votes, John Meyer with 21 votes. Those were the top 4 vote getters. You want me to read the rest, Vincent?
No, that's good. You got the top 4. Okay. So I would like someone to make a motion to accept the voting, the electronic and mail-in ballot voting for the offices, I guess we call them, right? Of Board 5.
This is Leo Kane. I will make a motion.
Hold on. Slow down. Peg, hands up. Richie has his hand up.
So do I.
Okay, Rich, we got Richie first. Go ahead, Rich.
I'd like to make a motion due to the circumstances that we accept the ballot as presented and the vote tallies as such.
Okay.
Ken has his hand up.
Peggy first. Go
I
ahead,
was
Peg.
going to make that motion, but I will second Richie's motion that we accept the vote as transmitted by Gary.
So on the question, Kathy Sumsky.
I just have a question. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask right now, but with the term limits, does that assure that you all will stay in office, even though term limits might?
What are you talking about, term limits?
For the community board, wasn't it voted that term limits for 2 years?
It's like 4 years because it
4
was 2
years.
years. So it's mute. It's moot because we vote every year.
Okay, great.
Actually,
I was just confused about that. I wasn't sure how that was all going to work.
Okay. Who wanted to speak on that?
John.
I would just like to clarify the term limits started this year, I believe. Whoever got appointed this year has 5 2-year terms. Anybody appointed subsequently or possibly even starting last year has 4 full terms.
Yeah.
So it is a ways off for a term.
As I said, it's moot because we have elections every year. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 years, 4 years, 6-year membership. It's elections every year. Okay, any further on that, the motion?
Those on the phone are unmuted.
All right. I think we need to call a roll call. Is that not correct, Mr. G?
That I believe is in order.
Okay, so if you would.
Oh.
Paul, if you'd like to talk, use the virtual raise hand. I don't know if that's what you're trying to do.
I don't know what that is. Mr. G, would you?
Yeah.
Before you start, Gary, Bob Kermelli has his hand up.
Bob?
No, I raised my hand because I'm voting yes. I thought that's.
Well, no. You wait to be called.
Okay, thank you.
Paul, do you have a question, Paul?
Yes. The committee, the board has already voted on the issue.
You weren't listening to me?
What did I miss?
That based on what was received from the mayor's office, because there is no section in the bylaws for remote voting, we had to take a vote on it. Okay?
And we did.
Otherwise, we would be doing something illegal.
No.
Don't say no.
No.
Okay?
But okay. Go ahead.
Thank you. Would you please call the roll, Mr. G?
Okay.
Please state what we're voting on.
The people that we elected.
Okay. Because we could infer that it's from.
But that's what you seconded, right,
I
Peg?
know, but the way you spoke, it sounded as though we were voting on the methodology rather than the actual candidates.
Yes, I think it's the method, not the candidates themselves.
Give me a break.
It's the method.
The whole thing. It's both. Okay?
Well, no, because we can't change the vote. So it's not the vote itself, it's the method.
Okay. Please call the roll. Give me a break tonight.
All right. Take it easy. Mr. Adhikari,
Yes, sir.
are you in favor?
Yeah.
Vincent Arcuri,
For.
Antonetta Benanti,
For.
Eric Butkowitz,
For. You just say aye.
Robert Chimelli,
Yes.
Walter Clayton,
For.
Patricia Crowley,
For.
Dmytro Fitkowski,
For.
Sean Fish,
For.
Mr. Garang,
For.
Fred Haller,
Yes.
Get on mute.
Yes.
Fred Hofferly,
For.
Richard Huber,
For.
Paul Kirzner,
For.
Marianne Lutanzio,
Or
John Meyer,
What's my name?
who did I miss?
Kinga Kirzner.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
you missed me.
I'm sorry. Kinga Kirzner.
For.
Thank you. John Meyer,
For.
okay. Edgar Mantell,
For.
Kathy Massey,
Or
Peggy O'Kane,
For.
Michael O'Kane,
For.
Don Passantino,
For.
Michael Porcelli,
For.
Ken Rayberger,
For.
Ted Wrens,
For.
Luis
For.
Rodriguez,
For.
Lee Rottenberg,
For.
Walter Sanchez,
For.
Dennis Steffen,
For.
Kathy Sumsky,
For.
Guyanel Tapa,
For.
Robert Siscano,
For.
Patrick Trinchesi,
For.
Krista Wolf,
or
and I think that's everyone. Get everyone?
Thank you. I have nothing else. Do anyone have anything for the chair?
Mr. Arcuri,
Yes.
the statements from the other elected officials.
Oh, I thought go ahead.
We only did the council member.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So we received a statement from the mayor's office saying the annual tax lien sale is postponed until September 2020 as the city continues its recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Property owners who are facing hardships making their property tax payments can take advantage of several existing Department of Finance programs. These include exemption programs to lower the amount of taxes owed, standard payment plans, or a new property tax and interest deferral, called a PT-Aid program, for those who qualify. For more information on those programs can be found on the agency's website, which is https://www.nyc.gov/site/finance/index.page. The mayor and city council reached an agreement on an all-time and balanced $88.19 billion budget for fiscal year 2021. The budget is balanced despite the lack of borrowing authority from Albany or a federal stimulus. To ensure the budget can continue to fund critical services for vulnerable New Yorkers, the administration will continue to advocate for support for borrowing authority from Albany and a stimulus from Washington. Most notably, the budget includes $1 billion in cuts and cost shifts to the New York City Police Department while maintaining patrol strength to protect the safety of all communities. On June 23rd, the mayor established a multi-agency task force to crack down on illegal fireworks sales. The task force targets suppliers, distributors, and possessors of large quantities of illegal fireworks by conducting investigations and sting operations within and outside of New York City to disrupt supply chain. The task force consists of 10 officers from NYPD Intelligence Bureau, 12 FDNY fire marshals, and 20 members of the Sheriff's Bureau of Criminal Investigation. The FDNY has also launched a public safety campaign, including public service announcements and social media to illustrate the dangers of illegal fireworks. As of July 3rd, FDNY fire marshals had confiscated nearly $400,000 worth of fireworks from around the city, and they have arrested 17 people. Phase 3 in New York City began on Monday, which includes the reopening of dog runs, tattoo and massage parlors, nail and tanning salons, basketball, handball, tennis, bocce, and volleyball courts, and soccer fields. Doesn't say baseball. Today is our Get Tested Day of Action, during which we are encouraging all New Yorkers to get tested for COVID-19, even if they do not have symptoms. Testing is free, safe, and confidential. For an interactive map that shows all known testing sites, please go to nyc.gov/COVID testing or call 311. And that came from Jessica Schabowski, who's the Queensborough Director of the Mayor's Community Affairs Unit. We received a statement from State Senator Joseph Adabo. Good evening to the members of CB5. As always, I appreciate your efforts, especially during these trying times throughout the coronavirus pandemic. On Monday, June 29th, my Middle Village office returned to its full-time status Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with its full complement of team members returning to work. I am thankful that my team worked at keeping the office open throughout the pandemic so that we were able to address virus-related issues such as unemployment claims, food availability, and assistance for our local small businesses. We continue to handle these COVID issues as well as other community issues that come our way. The Middle Village office will continue to have the 24/7 live operator service to answer the needs of my constituents after office hours. The Senate is expected to return to its legislative session remotely via Zoom later this month. If my team or I can be of assistance to you, please do not hesitate to contact us at 718-497-1630. Thanks again and have an enjoyable, safe summer. And then we received a message from the office of Assembly Member Brian Barnwell, from Victoria Leahy, the Executive Director of that office. Good evening, everyone. We hope that everyone is doing well and staying healthy. We have a few announcements that we would like to share with the public this evening. Our office has created a COVID-19 community resource guide, which includes information and resources for individuals impacted by COVID-19 that are offered by the city, state, and federal government, as well as nonprofits. We've shared the resource guide with CB5 and will continue to share the guide with the public. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to call our office. We are continuing to work remotely and are more than happy to help. We can be reached at 718-651-3185. If you are not able to get through to us, please leave your name, number, and a brief message describing your issue. We will call you right back. Thank you and be well, from Assembly Member Brian Barnwell. And that's what I have as far as elected official statements, or we
Okay,
have.
you might as well give your report then.
Okay. I think we got everyone a package that Laura put together of gloves and masks, some of which had I think the masks had a CB5 logo, have the CB5 logo on them, and hand sanitizers. And Laura delivered to several senior centers masks and hand sanitizers, and I think gloves as well. And as far as the virus goes, I think New Yorkers have a lot to be proud of, in that we have worked pretty diligently with the great majority of us to really reduce the numbers of people becoming infected and people dying from this terrible virus. The rest of the country, the numbers are going up in a lot of states, and as Che No said, it's requiring quarantining here, if that could possibly be done, of people coming from many, many other states. And I just wish that people throughout the country would take the initiative to just keep social distance and realize the importance of wearing masks, because those numbers didn't come down in New York City and New York State for no reason at all. I think Marianne Latanzio is going to give a public safety report, but I'm certainly concerned about a lot of the violence that has taken place, especially with regard to the tremendous increase in shootings in the city of New York that have resulted in numerous murders. The city numbers for crime are up dramatically in the past month related to violent crime. And that needs to change. And that's a more complicated issue than we can talk about this evening, but I remain concerned with regard to that. And as far as anything more goes, I'll give up the floor to the rest of the agenda, sir.
Thank you. So we'll go to committee reports, and Marianne, with public safety.
Okay, the Public Safety Committee met virtually on June 25th, 2020. First order of business was to congratulate Deputy Inspector Perry on her well-deserved promotion. We also thanked all the officers of the 104th for keeping our community safe during this difficult time. The committee inquired about the effects of the COVID-19 on the 104th precinct. Officer Berish stated that 25 to 30 officers tested positive for the COVID-19. Some officers lost up to a month of time while recovering from the virus. The committee also discussed the recent protests in the 104th precinct. Police Officer Berry stated all protests in the 104 were peaceful and orderly. There had been approximately 10 protests in the 104th. The committee discussed the use of force as a big issue regarding proper policing and agreed what happened to George Floyd was horrible. This committee recognizes that at the times the police officers need to deal with very difficult situations within a split decision, but the proper use of force is a big issue which needs to be addressed. The committee discussed the concerns of disbanding of the police department. It was stated and agreed upon that no officer knows how they were going to react in a difficult situation, and at times a split decision needs to be made. The committee voted in favor of sending a letter both to Mayor de Blasio and to the head of the New York City Council, Corey Johnson, explaining why we are against defunding the police department and what is needed is better training of police officers to dis-escalate situations. The committee discussed the number of police officers on each tour of the 104th precinct. Police Officer Barish stated the following as typical staffing patrols. Our day tour has 10 to 12 officers, which is 4 to 5 police cars. 4 to 12 shift, 12 to 15 officers, which is 5 to 6 police cars. And the midnight shift is 10 to 12 officers, which is 4 to 5 police cars. However, in the past month, officers have been shipped out of the 104th precinct to cover protests, and they were doing 12-hour shifts. Officer Barish stated that a class will be graduating this month. After the Public Safety Committee met, it was learned that the 104th received 7 new officers from the academy. Crime stats in the 104. Crime is up 28% in the past 2 years in the 104th precinct and 17% year to date. Felony assaults are up 66% year to date. Burglary up 83% year to date. Robbery up 22% year to date. Officer Barish stated burglaries up during the pandemic. Graffiti becoming a big problem again in the CB5 area was discussed. Officer Barish stated we no longer have a graffiti officer at the 104th precinct, and therefore few graffiti arrests have been made. Officer Barish stated NYPD more concerned about cleaning up the graffiti than catching them. Okay, we discussed summonses in the 104. Summonses in the past 28 days. There were 387 parking violations issued and 337 moving violations issued. Year to date, they were given 2,568 parking violations and 4,490 moving violation summonses. The committee next discussed fireworks being out of control both in the 104th and New York City. Officer Barish stated problem is citywide, including the 104th. He stated if anyone knows of a location, please to report it to 311 or 911. Officer Barish stated Deputy Inspector Perry is aware of the problem, and officers were instructed to hand out summonses about fireworks being called in. Officer Barish stated we do not have a fireworks staff currently in the 104. Okay, homeless shelter resident at 7816 Cooper Avenue was discussed. Officer Barish stated police officers have responded to calls to the shelter more often, but many of the complaints are not founded, and the problem is usually an assault on one another. Officer Barish stated that his knowledge there are approximately 100 to 110 men currently residing at the shelter. Bail reform. The committee spoke about various situations on Cooper Avenue. We are now starting to see the effects of bail reform. Officer Barish stated there are a lot of criminals who know they're going to get a slap on the wrist, which is an increase in crime. The committee next discussed bicyclist safety and pedestrian safety issues. 50 pedestrians were killed in 2018, and 70 pedestrians were killed in 2019. It was discussed the need for cyclists to wear helmets, and many cyclists are not following the rules of the road, which are causing dangerous situations both to themselves and others. The city is promoting the use of bicycles, but not advocating for bicycles behaving responsibility for their own safety and the safety of others. We will discuss bicyclists and safety issues at the Net Public Safety meeting. The meeting was adjourned at 9:09.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments on that report? If not, we'll go to Kathy Massey with Homeless Services.
Okay. So we had another CAB meeting. This is the second one since they opened. There are 100 men in there. The issues that we discussed were the alcohol and substance abuse problem, the programs that are going on and the lack thereof there. There's no training programs at all. Basically, most of the men are unemployed. We talked about the fact that they do allow level 1 and level 2 sex offenders in the building to live there. And we questioned the fact that, you know, there are a lot of problems now. There have been, I believe, 424 911 calls regarding the shelter. And there's a percentage that are unfounded, but there were a couple of arrests, a few assault arrests, and we discussed the men wandering and not social distancing, not wearing masks, and their answer is, well, we can't force them to. The interesting thing is they don't seem to be aware that school opens in September, and as bad as things are now, we're going to have 4 elementary schools, the children and the daycare and the gymnastics all surrounding there. We've had, we've sent them photographs, DHS, of their residents shooting heroin in the stairwell on Cooper Avenue. Then they said it wasn't their resident, and we sent them a photograph of the resident coming and going out of the shelter door. So the issue is they're claiming that, you know, not all these complaints are about residents, but the real issue is their residents attract an undesirable group of people, unfortunately. So if it's not their resident, it's someone visiting their resident. Actually, today, while we were on the CAB meeting, Daniel from Bob Holden's office was in his office participating, and one of the residents knocked on the door. He was totally strung out on heroin. And this is what we have. He was originally in a shelter in Brooklyn where they were giving him his methadone. They're not giving it to him here at Cooper Rapid. So things are not good with West Tab. And as we anticipated, they are not equipped to handle this. I have left several messages for Nick Orlich, who manages it, the shelter. He never returns calls. And if you can get through to leave him a message, you're lucky. It basically says that his mailbox is full. This is an ongoing issue. I suggested that the next CAB meeting we really should have it with the business owners, because they're taking a big hit from this, as you know. I mean, we have outdoor dining, and now we have the residents from the homeless shelter sitting at all the tables. Vinny, you can attest to that. You were up at Zooms. You know what the problem is there. The same thing's starting to happen at the Avenue and other restaurants. So I don't know if I can answer any questions. I'm happy to do so.
Thank you. Any questions for Kathy? So just to...
Mr. Chairman, if I could just make a comment.
Raise your freaking... Yes, gee.
Sorry, wrong button. I'd just like to say the local delis and the local gas stations and such have said that those residents have already worn out their welcome there by just hanging out there for endless amounts of time. So just like to throw that out there. Thank you.
Well, they'll be included in the invitation for business owners. It's not going to be limited to just restaurant owners.
So as Kathy said, we did observe there is one gentleman that always stops at the McDonald's on his way out and his way back. There's one gentleman that I had to remove 3 days in a row from the Stomp Dish beer garden because he was begging from the customers inside the gate. And they typically, as I told the Barish, they typically leave at 10 in the morning, head down to Ridgewood, and by noon they head back to the shelter, so they get there back by 2. There's at least a half dozen. And Kathy, yesterday we thought we observed some female residents. Do you know if there are any females there? It's only men.
It's only men. It's 100 men.
Well, then they had visitors yesterday.
Not surprised.
Thank you.
Okay. Kathy Sunsky has her hand up.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. I thought the mayor was taking everyone out of homeless shelters for social distancing and putting them in hotels. Why aren't they doing it for West Ham?
Well, there's a lot of questions about this particular facility. One, there is no signed contract. 2, they are not operating it as in the process that was outlined to us. There is no outside mobile security patrol as outlined to us. There are somewhere between 100 and 111 people in there. And we have no idea what the mayor's doing.
Sorry.
Okay, I know I've passed by a few times and I've seen like maybe 10, 15 of them standing outside, no masks, nothing.
Okay.
Just you know.
Vinny, with regard to the contract,
yes.
They have a signed contract. What it is not registered. So there is a signed contract, it's not registered. We brought up the issue of, I'm sorry, Kathy, what were you questioning? I'm sorry.
All right.
I have to unmute myself. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just questioning why they weren't moved out.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's the
We lost you.
Massey, you're muted.
Massey.
I'm unmuted.
There you go.
Okay. We were told that they were going to move everyone into hotels. Once again, when the plan changed, they never notified anyone that they were not. Now, I believe, and we couldn't get a straight answer, is they ran out of hotel rooms. So, they're blaming everything that's wrong with the shelter, which we said would be wrong with the shelter. They want to blame it all on the pandemic. And, I only said to them, they keep saying the poor and I understand this, but our community has been impacted by the pandemic also. Many of our residents have lost, community people have lost their jobs also. So this is not, the pandemic is not an excuse for the behavior.
All righty. Let's not continue with committee work, but thank you for your report.
Those on phone are unmuted if they have questions.
Okay. If not, we'll go on with the environmental committee. We have a report? Yes, no? No? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Brian Dooley was not able to attend this evening's meeting.
Thank you. How about John Meyer, Transportation? John, are you there?
I am here. I actually did arrive at the Transportation Committee a little late. I was looking over the minutes that Gary was kind enough to send to me. Do you want to speak? The only capital project that was raised at the last meeting, which was on 7:30 on June 23rd, was the planned reconstruction of Wyckoff Avenue from Flushing Avenue to Cooper Avenue. Would you like to give any highlights to that conversation, Vinny? I know this is a project that's been dear to you for a while, and we have been very frustrated by the lack of movement on it.
It still boggles my mind. I think Gary was the last one to discuss it with the elected officials. Gary, did we get a new update on Wyckoff?
Gary, you have to unmute.
I think I'm unmuted.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah, so I need to organize something with the Department of Environmental Protection and us and DEP, or get that organized.
Oh, yeah. So
because a lot of what is supposedly putting a halt on the project, or a delay at least on the project, and I think we talked about this last month maybe, but the contamination that is possible in the sewer line.
So as you, those who've been paying attention to what's been going on in on the borderline of Queens and Brooklyn, where the Wolf Alport property was, there was some atomic energy spill in the area. The federal government was going to take care of the property. When the city announced the Wyckoff Avenue project, which includes property line to property line, sidewalks, curbs, water main, sewers, everything you can think of, they suggested that maybe the city should look into the sewer in case there was runoff from the contaminated site. We looked at some of the details of the project, and it was going to be phased because they couldn't shut down the entire avenue in one shot. It was going to be at least 3 phases, starting from the west, which would be Flushing Avenue, and working east. And we had suggested that they at least award the contract for phases 1 and 2 while someone is analyzing the sewers to see if there's any contamination in there. Go ahead, John.
My understanding historically was that they did know that there was actually a great deal of sewer problems with the atomic materials, the radioactive materials, and that was one of the biggest parts of the cleanup.
Well, they didn't know the extent. They cleaned up what they had designated originally, but they suggested to the city to look into the rest of the sewer.
It is a capital issue for our board that was discussed for a brief moment. We've been trying to get the MTA to give us some more input on what they're doing with the M-train structure that they started painting last year. And it has been delayed for many reasons, least of which is the current COVID-19 issues. There was also some discussion during the meeting of the MTA New York City Transit steps to safety for trains, buses, and commuter rail, which is a changing environment every day. There was a recent press release on Monday about ridership numbers. We are still down about a little bit under 75% from normal when pre-COVID. So that's going to be an issue, and we got to figure out how to get back up, keep people comfortable with mass transit. There were quite a few discussions about transportation safety issues and requests. Continues to be a large amount of speed issues. We are constantly being requested to have speed bumps put in, various signage for slowing, stop signs, controlled intersections. Speeding seems to be always an issue. It hasn't been any less in our current environment. But there was some helpful discussion towards the end of the meeting about the use of street space and sidewalks for restaurants to recover during this time. That might change the dialogue a little bit, but it also raises the issue of safety in our streets is paramount if we're going to be putting people in the streets as well for dining and whatnot. Edgar Mantell gave a report back on the New York Community Aviation Roundtable issues, mostly focused around LaGuardia and the changes that are happening there still. And outside of that, there's nothing of note in the minutes that I saw to report back. Have we made a decision about the next meeting, Vinny?
No, because it's August. We'll wait and see before, in the next 2 weeks, we'll see, but hopefully no.
And if there's no major issues that are brought before the board for transportation, there probably won't be a meeting until the end of August in preparation for our September board meeting.
Ken has his hand up.
Yeah, John, I don't know if the board or John or if anybody heard about the accident on 80th Avenue and 62nd Street Saturday evening at 10 o'clock.
Nope.
No.
A vehicle driving west on 80th Avenue hit the speed bump, flew into the air, and that's where 80th Avenue turns a little bit, took out a couple cars, and then rolled over 3 times.
So the speed bumps work.
Yeah, they do. That's what I was going to say. The speed bump actually worked, but he had to really be flying to go airborne.
Lee has his hand up.
Lee?
Yes, hi. I just read an editorial in the Daily News that was criticizing SUVs for a lot of accidents with pedestrians and bicycles, and they're saying that they should stop making large SUVs or put warnings on them that they're dangerous. Have you heard anything about that, or?
Lee, I actually, a couple of meetings ago, I shared a very well-researched and well-documented, and I could try to send it to you, article in the Detroit Free Press, so the home of the auto industry in the U.S. at one time. They have actually done a lot of research on the change in how cars are constructed and the fact that the SUVs are indeed more responsible for injuries to both the people in them as well as the people around them.
Well,
Send me that article, appreciate it.
At the auto show this past year, everything grew much larger. There are pickup trucks that are, the hood is higher than my head.
That's what the article said. They said 10 kids can lay in front of a typical SUV and the driver can't see them.
That's correct.
Rich?
Yeah, regarding that accident, Ken, was the speed bump successful in killing the driver?
No.
No.
Okay, next.
Ken, your hand is still up?
No, I know with the SUVs, the last one I had, I mean, my God, there's stickers all over. What? Don't do this, don't do that, watch out for this, don't turn this way. But it basically all comes down to speed. And if you watch TV, the commercials, they encourage speed. I think that's our biggest problem.
Well, there is some truth to that. I mean, the way that the automobile is sold on the TV is they show our own city with cars speeding through it, late at night, empty streets. It's not the message we need to be sending. I did include in the chat for everybody a link to that article. So if you want to check that out.
Those on telephone are unmuted.
Mark, if I could say something.
Who's that? Fred?
Yeah, I don't know how to raise my hand on
bottom right-hand corner.
No, it's not there.
You have to have the participants list open.
Click on participants.
I just did. Oh,
And
I
then-
got you.
All right. So go ahead. You don't need to do it now.
At the end of the public safety, they mentioned the, bicycles, basically running all over the place. I mean, don't think I've seen one stop at a stop sign. And, as far as the stoplight, maybe any discussion on how to make, anybody stop and participate in any sort of traffic signaling that they should, or is it just just run everything and everybody's just got to watch out, whether it's a car or a pedestrian? Is there any thought as to enforcement?
I think your thought of enforcement is going south with the conditions in the budget and the lack of respect for the police department and the number of officers that will be retiring that have already put their papers in, so that a leaner, thinner police force will probably do less enforcement than what you're looking for.
Well, I hear a lot of discussion of automobile drivers not driving safely, but I do see them stop. I very rarely see them running a light, running a stop sign, but I don't see a bicycle or a motorized bicycle stopping at any of those. So I'm just, I'd like to see somebody talk about.
Can we actually talk about numbers, Fred?
Could we do that at committee?
We can do that at committee, but
Please.
What I'm hearing is a lot of personal, data points that are not real data points. So
Okay, John,
let's
no
talk
problem.
about real stuff.
Let's do it.
If you ever see anybody stop at a stoplight or a stop sign,
I
give me a
see
call.
cars through stoplights all the time
Gentlemen,
and stop signs.
Gentlemen, so if you really want to observe some traffic conditions with, no matter what the vehicle is, a bus, a truck, a car, a bicycle, try sitting at one of our new outdoor cafes, especially if you want to do it at some Stomptish, because that's the intersection of Myrtle and Cooper, and very well signaled, and watch no one stop. Okay?
I disagree.
Vinny?
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's only going to get worse. And I think what we're seeing now is the fact that, and this is any vehicle, cars, bikes, motorcycles, that there are the undercover has been dismantled. So there are no unmarked cars, that no one's concerned about getting caught running a light, because that whole division is gone.
Well, it doesn't matter. We observed.
Can we ask that question to go to public safety?
Yes, please.
We can definitely ask the 104 to come in and talk about their traffic enforcement. But if you actually look at some of the numbers and what they've done year over year, you will notice that traffic enforcement has not been an issue for most precincts in the city for a number of years now. And that's an issue that is relayed every day. I mean, Fred, you raise your issues of what you feel you've seen, but I can speak to the fact that I have been at so many transportation committee meetings, and everybody is asking for speed restrictions and speed controls on their personal blocks, because
John,
it is cars that is the most problematic at multiple tons per mile per hour.
And we've observed people speeding around a stopped police car. And then the police car had to chase that person down. So it's just crazy people. All right. Any other committees we have to report, discuss? If not, any old business? Any new business? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Walter.
Thank you. Second by
Second by Marianne.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
And we will not have an August board meeting unless there is something we have to rule on or pass on. So thank you all and enjoy the hot weather tomorrow.
Take care, everybody. Be safe.
Okay.
Good night.
You too.
Good night.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Take good care.
Good night.
And everybody be safe.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care, Peg.
Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.